TN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Friday morning. It's 5:30. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Very happy to see you here with us, kicking off the weekend. And good morning to our friend Miller over in the Weather Center with quite the rainbow photo behind you.
Yeah, isn't this great? Tara just sent this in. This is a double rainbow yesterday in Winnett. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, yesterday was definitely rainbow weather.
Absolutely. I was out actually doing some stuff with the station and got caught in the middle of, these were some of the biggest raindrops I've ever seen in my life, and they actually hurt too. So,
was it when the hail was falling?
There wasn't any hail. These were raindrops that we saw, but they were big. They were a quarter size easy, and boy, a couple of them got me on the top of the head. I was like, woo, my goodness. Mashing what little brains I have anyway. So, but thank you so much for sending that in. Hopefully that puts a smile on everybody's face. A beautiful sunrise this morning as we take a look. You can see we do have some cloud cover out there that could spit out a little bit of rain this morning. A better chance we could see maybe that rain later today in the afternoon. High getting up to our temperature right now is sitting at about 47, with temperatures today getting up into the 60s. We're starting off in the 40s, mainly around the area, and you can see a lot of cloud cover out there. And we're going to see those showers kind of roll through today, maybe some isolated thunderstorms, some weak thunderstorms is what we're anticipating. And there's that high today of 69 here in Billings. We're 40s and 50s to start. We'll be in the 60s by lunchtime, and then flirting with 70-degree weather as we get into the afternoon. We may not get that warm. It all depends on the cloud cover and maybe some rain that tries to cool us down. It's hit or miss showers today. Very weak thunderstorms, but some of them could produce some hail, and maybe we'll get lucky and see another rainbow off of that later today too.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
We definitely consider ourselves lucky for that.
Yeah.
All right, Miller, well, we have lots of news, so I will get on to it. Thanks. We begin this Friday with surprising new guidance from the CDC. Fully vaccinated Americans no longer have to wear masks inside or outside at most places across the country. Officials say the revised advice follows a sharp decline in infections. Nearly half the country has received at least one dose of a coronavirus vaccine. More than a third are fully vaccinated. The CDC still recommends people cover their faces in tightly packed crowds, like on planes or inside hospitals and nursing homes. Here in Billings, hundreds flocked to the Shrine Auditorium on Thursday for the chance to get the vaccine and $50. It was also the first opportunity for local kids to get a shot. Anyone ages 12 to 15 just became eligible this week. A parent has to be present and sign a consent form before their child can be vaccinated. One of those parents was a Billings pediatrician who recommends other parents do the same.
What I try to explain to families is that with vaccines, this vaccine went through the exact same process of all the vaccines that I give and that I have full confidence of.
In the Pfizer trial, the vaccine for 12 to 15-year-olds was 100% effective in preventing infection. Not only teens, but truckers are getting a shot in Montana. This week, the state health department set up a vaccination site at a truck stop off Interstate 15 near Conrad. It's the only interstate that crosses the Montana-Canadian border, and officials say the clinic will ensure the flow of goods and services between the two countries. Since it opened, more than 300 truck drivers from both the U.S. and Canada have received a Johnson & Johnson vaccine. One Canadian trucker says you can't beat the convenience, and he got the shot for his family.
My daughter, she has a very bad immune system, and my wife too, both my kids actually. So because I cross the border so much and I go to so many places, so for me, I don't want to give it to anybody, you know what I mean?
The truck stop is off I-15, exit 339. It will be available to truckers until May 23rd. In other news, a new Montana tax credit designed to benefit private school students is now law. The governor signed House Bill 279 at a ceremony yesterday. Donors who contribute to scholarships to send children to private institutions can now knock off up to $200,000 from their state income taxes. School choice proponents say this will open the door for more Montana kids to attend private schools. But the law is being highly criticized by the state's Democrats.
This is a $200,000 tax credit, not just to individuals, but to corporations. And I don't know about you, but I don't know how many of our fellow Montanans has $200,000 to shell out on a public or private school. But this is not for students, my friend. This is a tax break for the very wealthy.
The new tax credit won't take effect until 2022. Rent and home prices are on the rise as people continue to flow into Montana from other states. A new report shows fair market rent for a one-bedroom home in the Treasure State has risen to more than $680 per month. That means a minimum wage worker would have to spend well over the recommended 30% of their income on housing. The good news is there are organizations and grants to help people pay for mortgages and rent. Neighbor Works and Montana Housing are holding a virtual conference next week to inform Montanans of their options.
We hope folks have new tips, tools, and tricks and innovative ideas to take back to their individual communities so that they can further help provide and create opportunities for homes that Montanans can afford.
The Housing Partnership Conference will be held Tuesday and Wednesday next week. You can find a link to register in this story at ktvq.com. Some good news on the job front. Unemployment numbers hit a new pandemic low. Jobless claims dropped to 473,000 last week. This is the first time during the pandemic that they have fallen below 500,000. The peak was in January when it was closer to 1 million. Economists say the numbers are moving in the right direction but may not be as reliable as usual. That's because states are struggling to clear backlogs of unemployment applications because of many reports of fraud. And to put the rise in fraud in perspective, the Secret Service has confiscated about $2 billion in stolen unemployment money. They say that's just a conservative estimate of what they believe may have been taken illegally. The taken money covers about 30 states. Much of the fraud is related to criminals stealing people's identities and then making unemployment claims. Because of the quick rollout of the assistance, it was easy prey for fraudsters. The Secret Service has returned the money to state unemployment programs. Now to Israel, where clashes between the country and Palestinian militants show no signs of letting up. International observers are increasingly fearful the conflict could turn into a ground war. Gaza's health ministry says more than 100 Palestinians have been killed. That includes 28 children. On the Israeli side, the death toll stands at 8 people, including 1 child. CBS's Tina Krause has the latest.
Israel continued to bombard the Gaza Strip with airstrikes and artillery shelling overnight as Hamas launched round after round of rocket barrages. Thursday saw the bloodiest surge in the death toll so far as officials in Gaza reported 49 Palestinians were killed by Israeli strikes. Israeli officials say those strikes are in response to the nearly 2,000 rockets Palestinian militants have fired at Israel.
We're asking everybody to stay at home, to be within 30 seconds of a safe zone and safe area.
Israel Defense Forces caused some confusion Thursday after tweeting that air and ground troops are currently attacking in the Gaza Strip. It later told CBS News there are currently no ground troops inside the Gaza Strip. Late yesterday, though, Israel's defense minister moved ground forces to the Gaza border and ordered the mobilization of another 9,000 reservists. On Thursday, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken once again pleaded for peace.
Palestinians have a right to live in security and to live in peace, just as Israelis do. And so we are working hard to encourage all sides to stand down.
Egyptian officials, who've often served as mediators between Israel and Hamas, traveled to the area yesterday and began talks with both sides. So far, though, there have been few signs of progress. Tina Krause, CBS News.
Israel's military said 2 infantry units and an armored unit were at the Gaza border and plans were prepared for a potential ground attack. A Hamas military spokesman says the group was not afraid of a ground invasion, insisting it would be a chance to increase their catch of dead or captive soldiers. Now in the George Floyd case, the trial of 3 former Minneapolis police officers charged with aiding and abetting murder and manslaughter will move from August to next March. The judge says he's doing that so the 3, along with Derek Chauvin, can face civil rights charges in federal court first. Chauvin was convicted last month of murdering Floyd. Fuel is moving through the entire Colonial Pipeline this morning. However, the company did end up paying a multi-million-dollar ransom to the hackers to unlock some of its data. President Joe Biden refused to comment on whether or not he was briefed on that decision. He did address the fuel shortage in the Southeast and urged people to stay calm. As many load up on gas, the North Carolina Attorney General's office has received over 400 complaints about price gouging across that state.